What's up? This is Michael, yet once again on the graveyard shift in the very wee hours of the dead of night with your daily trivia question once again, and welcome to the weekend. I went outside just a minute ago and I thought I felt some pollen, like pollen is kind of like making its way back. So I guess we're like there. I guess we're at that point now where it's time to you're going to see yellow stuff all over the place. But hey, it beats the ice and snow, that's for sure. Okay, so the answer to the previous trivia question was, of course, the Beatles and John Lennon's infamous statement where he said that we are more popular than Jesus. So a few years following their arrival to the United States in 1964, ushering in Beatlemania on their appearance of the Ed Sullivan Show, very famous time in music history. John Lennon did an interview for a London newspaper. This was in '66, a few years later, where he referenced his belief that the public were more infatuated with the band than with Jesus. Now, in doing so, he said his exact quote was, quote, "We are more popular than Jesus now." So none of this was a big deal. You didn't hear anything of this in the UK. Remember, he did this interview in London. So, however, when it was republished in the United States months later, this is when a huge controversy exploded. Just out of control controversy. Lennon's comments were deemed blasphemous by many religious groups, especially in the United States and the Bible Belt South, so to speak, if you will. And they incited angry reactions, protests, threats, everything you can name it. They even burned his records, and radio stations stopped playing Beatles songs. Press conferences were canceled. The controversy overshadowed the press coverage of their newest album, which was one of their most classic albums, Revolver. But all of that went unheard of because of the controversy that was created over his comments. The band's tour manager even considered canceling the tour that year over concerns that they may be harmed, over like death threats and so forth and such. Lennon would apologize at a series of press conferences, many press conferences, and explain that he was not comparing himself to Christ, but the controversy only exasperated the band's unhappiness with touring in '66 that year and thereafter. And they never undertook touring again. The incident was a significant catalyst for the Beatles to go back to the studio and focus exclusively on those type of studio recordings. And 2 years later, they would actually release Sgt. Pepper's, which is one of their best albums in music history ever, period. Hands down. So there's good that comes of all things. Lennon would actually leave Jesus off of the cover of the famous Sgt. Pepper's cover, who had multiple figures and characters on that cover. He purposely left Jesus off of the cover due to the 1966 controversy. That was a little geek factoid I found in my research. So according to some, the episode became so much a part of history that the words "more popular than Jesus," as he stated in that famous 1966 interview, became synonymous with making it big in the music and other industries. And it is often referenced today. You must be more popular than Jesus, or sure enough, more popular than John Lennon. It's kind of a poke and a prod and a make fun of type of a statement that people still use today. And John Lennon would actually go on to reference and use Jesus Christ in some of his other songs. The Ballad of Yoko Ono. It's either in just referenced in a number of his songs in kind of a make fun of type of a manner. And all of that originated with this famous statement back in '66. So that's the Beatles and his famous "more popular than Jesus now" statement. And nowadays it's nothing compared to what we see and hear today. In fact, if you want to sell more albums, you say and do stuff that's controversial, that's really off the wall to some of the things that I've seen lately. And of course, if you really want your album sales to boost, then you just simply die. It's plain and simple. Okay, folks, moving right along to today's brand new trivia question for March 5th. Oh, this is cool. I guess we'll stay with the 60s and rock music trivia questions for the week. We can make a whole week out of this, actually. On this day in 1969, this lead singer of this rock group, it's a two-part challenge, is arrested in Miami, Florida, and charged with a single felony count and 3 misdemeanors for his stage antics a few days earlier, where he allegedly exposed himself. Yikes. Good luck, folks. Have a great weekend. Be safe and all that good stuff. I'll see you next time.